a potential 7.1 million skier visits over the course of a season, did you ever imagine you would be putting out that number?
It was kind of equally the most surprising and least surprising thing from this season. It's a big number, a big jump from last year, 22% increase. But, it's not surprising given the snowfall that we had and when it came and how often it came and, the length of the season. I mean, every resort in the state broke some kind of record, whether it was snowfall or visitation or both days skied. So we just, we were open wall to wall starting in around Thanksgiving. And, it's just not surprising. And the snow just never seemed to stop.
How do you measure skier visits? How do you measure that data?
So a skier visit is anybody visiting any one of our resorts for any time, day or night. So if you went up to Brighton and went night skiing, that's one skier visit. If I skied 65 days of powder this year, which I did, that's 65 skier visits. And so what I would say, that'd be different than, say, unique visits, which are, how many people came and skied here. And we're still kind of unpacking the data, so don't have that number right off the top of our head. But it's skier visits is the industry standard.
How much do you think the bulk pass holder contributes to this without the data in front of you, just as an impression of Icon, for example, or all of the others, because there are many others. It's not just Icon, but how much do you think that contributes to the daily use at our resorts?
It does, but I think what would surprise people, and we don't talk about individual resort numbers, but I took a look at independent resort numbers versus the kind of resorts that are all married to some of these big passes. And I was surprised to learn that the growth was a few points higher at the resorts that weren't associated with those Epic or Icon passes, which I thought was great to see. We're talking about the Bryan Heads and the Beavers and the smaller resorts. So interesting stat, I think.
Looking at the landscape of the industry from when you started as an intern to now, how much has this animal grown over the nearly 2 decades here that you've been involved with Ski Utah?
It's grown a lot, and I'd say it's mirrored the growth of the state. I've grown up in Salt Lake City. I remember when Interstate I-15 was 2 lanes in each direction, and now I lost count of how many lanes it is in some points. So it's mirrored the population growth. And one thing that I would say unique about our industry is the fact that we don't have the number of resorts doesn't grow with the population growth. So I would assume that gas stations and grocery stores, that number has grown to match the population growth. And although some elements of our resorts have grown uphill capacity with high-speed chairs and the way their resorts manage their capacity, that's grown. But it's it's kind of an outlier in terms of typical industry stuff.
Just in generality, how much does this industry contribute to the tourism and the awareness of the state of Utah?
Yeah, it's a big number. And I will tell you, overall spending was about $2.5 billion this year. And that's money spent when somebody gets off the plane from San Francisco. Doesn't include their plane ticket, but includes a run to Costco, their Uber ride, car rental, lift tickets, ski rental, restaurant, t-shirts, all the above. And that equates to about $250 million, 257 million in state and local taxes. So that's we love that we bring people in from out of state. They come spend either a long weekend with us or up to a week or 10 days. They bring home tons of memories, and we keep all the money that they spend in the state and at our various businesses, and also for those state and local taxes.
Lift tickets, the daily lift ticket will increase year by year at a lot of these resorts. Things are getting more expensive across the board. Parking is now being charged for at a number of resorts. it's getting pretty expensive for the single day user, I would think, to go. And I know the passes really contribute to that ability to spread it out over 10, 15, 20 days. And that
Yeah.
individual cost goes way down. But are we pricing people out at all in this?
I think there are places, great places for people who want to experience for one weekend. And I'll give you an example, a place like Nordic Valley, which is an awesome spot to ski. I don't know if you spend any time up there, but their lift tickets really reasonable. Less than it costs a lot of people to play golf at a public golf course. So there are places for it. We're also lucky to have some of the best ski resorts in the world, and certainly the daily lift ticket prices at some of those resorts are going to reflect that. But as somebody who's lived here for a long time, if you were to go to buy a season pass at a resort 10 years ago, it cost more than your multi-resort pass today and was good for one resort. And, today you can't even imagine the fact that you would have a pass that's only good for one resort. Are you kidding me? So, we have a lot of options here, which I think are great, but I think you got to look to, and we're lucky to have that variety here in Utah, that you can find those small to mid-sized resorts that are great, and might be a better fit for the single day person who's going to ski one day or one weekend a year.
What does the future look like for the industry here in Utah now that you've kind of experienced it firsthand in your realm over the last 2 decades at least? I know we're building private resorts here in the state, which is very interesting. I think that concept is very interesting. Your Mayflower, your Wasatch Peaks is happening, but is there room for growth with either resorts or more expansion? Where does the industry go here after achieving such a milestone this year?
Yeah, well, we'll see. If we could schedule 900 inches of snow a year, we could have some of these big winters every year. I'm not sure. I'm not totally advocating for that. It was fun for a winter, but it was a lot of work as well. We'll see. We've got a very strong tailwind, and our industry, I would say, has matured over the last 20 years. So, when the Olympics were here, people were still kind of just learning the names Park City, Deer Valley. We kind of lived in the shadows of the Aspens and Vales of the world. And our industry has matured a ton. I think we need to put some serious effort into infrastructure and the way we move people to and from the resorts. Some of the challenges we have are not once you get on the hill. The resorts do a great job of managing the experience there, but it's getting into and out of. And I'll give you an example, Little Cottonwood Canyon, that road has not changed much since I was 20 something years old, 25 years ago. And we're putting, way more people up there, people like you that come from out of state and buy a multi-resort pass and love the access. And, we just need to think about more efficient and reliable ways to move people into and out of the canyons.
Do you have a Ski Utah position on that topic that you'd like to share, or no?
Yeah, for sure. We're huge advocates of the gondola in the Little Cottonwood Canyon. I'd say we're a bigger advocate of UDOT and the process that they have taken to hopefully see that through. And we understand it's a long-term project, and they're being very thorough about how they do that. Even if they don't pick the gondola, and we had a more robust bus system and avalanche sheds, and anything we can do to move forward in terms of making the experience getting into and out of our resorts. And it's not just Little Cottonwood Canyon, it's both Big and Little, it's Park City, it's Snow Basin, it's Sundance. That's the pinch point for us right now, is the into and out of the mountains. And it's understandable, these are tricky climates, and especially when you throw 900 inches of snow at it, and people are driving up there, and they're hopefully not their 2-wheel drive cars, but things can go sideways quickly.
Can you clear the air on why resorts aren't open late here? Is it about the dollar? Is it about the tourism not coming in?
It's pretty simple. It's because they're all playing golf and riding their bikes. They're checked out. They had ski season 105% this year, and come April we had a couple more big storms, and I think, you know, people at that point were like, oh, all right, I'm ready to move on. And you know, if you're a skier, you are also a hiker, a biker, a golfer, and that's honestly one of the best things about living in Utah, is that you hit whatever it is the season du jour, you hit it hard, and then come springtime, let's get out and ride bikes and go to the desert and all that fun stuff. So we just don't see the demand that we do, and it doesn't make sense. And I'm glad Snowbird stays open too, and you know, they'll be open for Father's Day weekend, and crossing fingers they'll be open for July 4th. We'll see. That happens every decade or so.